All right, today we're working on an air duct system. We're going to clean an air duct system out here, and Norm's going to talk to us a little bit about where we want to place our vacuum line in regards to the air duct system and why that's important and what we're going to be able to do with this particular house. So what do we got going on here, Norm?
Well, on this furnace, we got lucky. There's actually a diagram showing the blower, the furnace, and then the A coil. When cutting in your access hole to hook up your duct cleaning equipment, your hose, you want to stay away from any humidifiers, A coils for air conditioning, or heat exchangers. So on our supply side, we ended up having to make our access hole up on top, far away from the filter. Ideally, we would like to hook up our hose as far from the openings as possible, right up to the air filter.
So as close to the filters as we can.
Close to the filter as we can.
Yeah, the longest distance from where the registers are at, you're saying.
So on the hot side, the supply, we will have to go pretty far away from the furnace to be safe. You don't want to start drilling in to the ductwork not knowing exactly what is inside there. On this one, it has a humidifier mounted on top of their A coil, so we're going to have to go pretty far over with our opening.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut our nice solid hole with our trace cutter and make sure we get a nice round hole that we can seal up real well. Okay, now what do we got going on inside the duct there, Norm?
This ductwork is lined with fiberglass insulation to help prevent dew points, to help control the dew point, and so it does not attract condensation to the ductwork.
Okay, so we're going to cut that out as well.
Yep. We'll make a nice clean cut so we can hook up into the ductwork with our hose. Attach this locking ring to the furnace where we have made our hole, and we can attach our flexible duct hose directly to this.
So now we've attached our flex hose to the heat run, and we're just making sure we get a nice tight fit. What we've used here is a lighter gauge made for interior only vacuum hose with a steel reinforced hose, but it's nice because when you're dragging this around a house, one, it's lighter weight, it collapses down into a 4-foot section once it accordions up, and really isn't abrasive. So when we're moving around the house, you can see where it's touching the door there. Now we'll probably still stick a piece of fabric in between there, a moving blanket, to protect that door while we're pulling our hose around, but you can see we probably wouldn't even need it over here. What's kind of one of the best parts about this hose that we're using, we have a male and female hose connection end that actually slips off and on very nice. It comes apart when there's no vacuum and goes together real well, and once we fire up our vacuum, that's going to suck it real tight, so we can get a nice tight seal and a good vacuum on here. Okay, so what we've done here, since this door is going to be open for quite a while, we've run a 6mm poly barrier with some zip pulls to try to keep as much heat in the house as we can, and keep it as comfortable in here as we can, since it's about 15 degrees outside today, and we are in Minnesota, and I don't think the homeowners appreciate too much the 20-degree weather inside the house, so it's the best we can do, and it seems to be very well appreciated by the homeowners. So we've got our air duct cleaning system set up out here, and as you can see, there's a bunch of large vacuum bags that the hose drives all the, gives all the suction for the hose to pull all the dust back into, and it gets stored in that big metal box there. It's a high-powered system that is gas run and has an engine inside our trailer, so that we can get a really good suction on this house and do a real nice job. Okay, so we've removed the cold air return grate. Now this is a home that's very well kept. You would look at the rest of the home and realize it's a very clean and well kept home, but unfortunately this home, the air ducts haven't been cleaned in 28 years since it was built, and this is an air return that gets cleaned at the surface quite often by the homeowner, because it's available and she can see it. But we opened it up today, and to her surprise, it was pretty dirty in there again. It had been probably a couple years since she had last done it, but you can see how much is built up in there, giving you an idea of what these ducts look like inside. Okay, so it looks like we're ready to start our air washing process, and we've got all hooked up to our compressor. The vacuum's hooked up to the furnace down by the furnace, and so we're vacuuming as we speak. And now what we're going to do is we're going to air wash these registers all the way down to where we have our hose hooked on, our vacuum line hooked on, and we have a series of rods that connect to our air hose, and then our air washing wand here, which Norm's going to demonstrate for us exactly how that works. It gets a little bit loud, but you get an idea of what's going on.
Okay, we're using 10-inch whips on our rods here.
Now those are the lighter gauge whips. There's a heavier whip for real heavy agitation if we feel that's needed. And these ones are a little lighter gauge. There's just more of them, right?
Correct. So we can start off with very low air pressure, pushing any light dust that's at the surface in. Then we can also adjust it all the way up to very high pressure.
Okay, for more agitation. Now that's going to get in the duct and agitate that around to give us to knock all that dust down.
When starting, you want to make sure there isn't any large amounts of debris near the opening. You also want to make sure you're able to get it into the duct run without complications.
Okay.
You also want to inspect to make sure it isn't flexible ducting. Then you might have to change your process to less air and a lot softer whips to prevent any damage.
Okay. So the idea is that we're agitating and those whips are blowing it at the same time. So as we shake all the dust out, we're also blowing it down to the furnace where our collection system's set up. Okay, so what do we got here now, Norm?
This is our cover panel.
And we kind of put a gasket on the back there to...
These come with a gasket already attached. They're higher grade, a lot stronger, being that we are very close to the furnace. We want to ensure that our plates stay durable and intact for many years.
Okay, great. So we get a good seal on there with that gasket.
Yep. Comes
pre-drilled. We can get a lot of screw holes in there. We'll fasten that thing up, and the next person to come along, if for some reason it wasn't us, they'll know that obviously the hole's already here, and this is where they can attach to clean these air ducts again.
Yep.
I like it.